Today, I'm giving you 7 essential things you need to know about for sale by owner objections in order to avoid them altogether or overcome them with ease. Agents who don't know these things or choose not to act on them will have to have more conversations before setting an appointment. They'll miss out on opportunities to earn appointments altogether, which all means less listings overall. And it's gonna take a lot longer to earn those listings. I made thousands of these calls myself when I was an agent and as an ISA, which is an inside sales agent, somebody who sits down and makes calls all day long and sets appointments. So I also had a triple line dialer, which allowed me to call 3 numbers at once. And so I was in a lot of conversations in a day. And over the last 5 years as a coach, I've heard and helped agents on thousands of more of these calls. So I've had a little bit of experience and trial and error. I'm curious, have you already started calling for sale by owners in your business? Let me know in the comments. Now today is a little bit different. I'm not just going over objections and rebuttals. I'm sharing with you the background info you need to know, which has helped my clients set 2 to 3 appointments in just 5 for sale by owner conversations on average, and earn 1 to 7 listings a week inside my programs. If you're new to me, hello, my name is Erica Corey, and agents partner with me to help them build a business that funds their life, not runs their life, so they can enjoy guilt-free downtime or heck, scale the business further. Inside my programs, agents have done awesome things like triple their GCI, increase their income while working less hours, and leave their 9 to 5s for full-time real estate careers. I've been told many times by agents, even just last week, the for sale by owners in my area are so stubborn and hard to deal with. I asked them questions to understand exactly what the agent means by that, and their responses are, well, it's hard to get the seller to answer, and when they do, they say they'll only work with me if I bring them a buyer, and they don't want to hire an agent or pay any commission. Has that ever happened to you? And yes, that has definitely happened to me a lot when I first started making these calls. And the truth is, that's all completely normal, especially based on your approach. And it's not because your area is different or your for sale by owners are meaner or tougher. Many times these things can be avoided, or you can overcome them with ease using the 7 essential things you need to know today, starting with number 1, taking responsibility. Instead of blaming the seller, the successful agent takes full responsibility for their conversion and focuses on improving their own technique. So let me give you an example. The average agent thinks to themselves, I can't convert for sale by owners because they're too stubborn. The high-performing successful agent thinks, they shut me down right after my greeting. Let me try this greeting 10 more times. If it fails between 7 and 10 times, I should change it. Without an expert to hold us accountable and give feedback on what, how, and when we say something, it can be very easy to miss or choose to skip these opportunities for improvement and increased results. Plus, it can be very time consuming going through all the trial of error of finding out what's working and what's not. But the first step is to take responsibility and ownership of your conversion. The second essential thing we need to know is understanding the 3 types of for sale by owners. The first type is the confident FSBO. These sellers are strong-willed and believe they can sell their home on their own. They might have sold a home FSBO before or simply have a lot of confidence in their abilities. They've tackled hard tasks before and they see this as no different. The second type of for sale by owner is the unaware FSBO. These sellers are trying to save money and might think to themselves, how hard can it be? They likely haven't been a for sale by owner before and don't realize the time and effort required. They might not realize that listing on Zillow would lead to tons of agents who want their listing and investors making lowball offers. They simply weren't prepared for what to expect. Now, the third for sale by owner type is the reluctant for sale by owner. These sellers would prefer to use an agent but feel pressure to try going FSBO due to external factors, maybe financial constraints or advice from their friends and family. They are often open to professional help but really need some reassurance about the value an agent can actually provide. As a quick side note, it's possible for a seller to be a mix of all 3 at the same time, and it's quite common for a seller to shift through each type as their days on market increase. For example, a seller might start as a confident FSBO, believing they can handle the sale on their own. However, as they encounter challenges, they might become an unaware FSBO, realizing the complexity of what's going on and the effort required. Later, they might show signs of a reluctant FSBO, feeling overwhelmed and reconsidering the value a professional of professional help, but may be reluctant to do so because they need every penny they can get. Now that you know the 3 types, why do you think it's important to identify which type of FSBO your seller is when it comes to objections? If you're thinking because each of them will need to be addressed and communicated with differently based on their stage, you're absolutely right. What other reasons come to mind for you? Drop them in the comments as I go over an example of this. In our example, let's consider a confident for sale by owner and a reluctant for sale by owner. If an agent treats a confident FSBO as a reluctant FSBO, they're likely to be told to bug off, regardless of how accurate or helpful the information is. Confident FSBOs take pride in their skills and achievements, so instead of positioning ourselves as correcting their approach, we should frame our value as a way to enhance their results. The goal is to show how we can help them achieve more. That with an agent, they can now essentially be 2 places at once, rather than implying that they can't succeed on their own. Even if they're clearly struggling, focusing on enhancement rather than correction prevents them from putting up their defenses and becoming even more committed to selling on their own. And I don't know about you, but when someone tells me I can't achieve something, I'm more dedicated than ever to do that thing. Are you like this too? Give this video a thumbs up if you are that kind of person. This leads us into the 3rd essential thing you need to know to avoid and easily overcome objections, and that is, it's not just about the sale. The successful agent never doubts the for sale by owner can sell the house on their own. It happens all the time, and the seller might have even sold on their own before. But selling alone isn't usually the only goal the seller has. They might want to walk away with the most amount possible or a specific amount, or maybe they want to sell quickly or in a specific time frame. The high-performing agent's value then is their ability to help the seller enhance their outcome and make sure they're on track to meet these goals, whether it's time, money, or something else. The average agent, on the other hand, assumes the for sale by owner can't sell their house on their own and focuses on convincing them otherwise. They miss the broader goal of the seller, like maximizing their profit or meeting that specific time frame. They don't dig deep enough to understand the seller's true objectives, and they focus solely on the act of selling the house rather than enhancing the seller's overall outcome. The 4th thing you need to know is the difference between objections, complaints, and conditions. Objections are true, genuine concerns or questions that need to be addressed for the seller in order for them to move forward. An example of this is, I'm not sure your commission is worth it. Complaints are expressions of dissatisfaction that don't necessarily block the sale. An example of this is, I've had so many agents calling me. And the 3rd is condition. These are situations that must be resolved before moving forward. An example of this is, I have a lien on the property I need to pay for. So here's the tricky part, and where the average agent gets thrown off. Sometimes a seller could say something that could either be an objection or a complaint, like, I don't want to pay a commission. As a complaint, the seller might simply be expressing general frustration about the cost without necessarily ruling out working with an agent or paying a commission. Have you ever complained about the cost of your energy bill but paid it anyways because you wanted electricity the next month? Same idea here. So as an objection, the seller has a genuine concern about the cost and needs to see the value an agent provides. This is important to know because the average agent will immediately begin to handle complaints and conditions as objections, which makes them seem like they're not truly listening to the sellers and can really come across as pushy. The high-performing agent uses the SAM method, which I will share with you when we get to number 6, and asks questions to identify if they're dealing with a complaint, objection, or condition. The 5th essential thing you need to know to overcome objections easily is to expect and be prepared for objections. The average agent tends to be caught off guard by objections. They see them as obstacles rather than opportunities. The average agent can easily become flustered and struggle to respond confidently, which lowers the trust with the seller. Instead of leveraging objections to demonstrate value, they might become defensive. And this lack of preparation and the ability to adapt to these situations leads to many missed opportunities and listings. Now, the high-performing agent, on the other hand, anticipates objections. They know they're a natural part of the sales process, especially with for sale by owners. Being prepared means that they can respond confidently without being caught off guard. The successful agent is ready to hear the same objection more than once and is prepared to handle multiple objections, especially while asking for the appointment. The sixth essential thing goes hand in hand with number 5, and it's leverage objections, don't handle them. When I say leverage objections, I mean use the objections you receive to build rapport, trust, and add value like we just mentioned in number 5. This will help you immediately to have longer and more effective conversations with for sale by owners and any other seller or human being, really. Now, the typical way many of us were taught to handle objections goes like this. Hear an objection, give a rebuttal. It's a lot easier to start sounding the same when we are all using the same rebuttals to a specific objection. And this hear objection, give rebuttal is the exact formula the average agent uses, which causes resistance in sellers and makes them seem like pushy salespeople who aren't listening and only want that listing. Today, I'm going to give you a framework successful agents use so you can start doing this on your very next call. And I call it the SAM method. The SAM method is used during the beginning of the call before you've asked for an appointment in order to leverage those objections, build rapport, and it will also help you identify if you're dealing with a complaint, objection, or condition. So SAM stands for summarize, agree, move. Here's what you'll do. Summarize the objection they've given you, agree with their perspective, then move on to another question. Let's use an example of I don't want to pay a commission. Here's a possible SAM response for that. I hear you, you don't want to pay a commission. If I were you, I wouldn't want to pay one either. Let me ask you this, other than Zillow, where else is your property being advertised? The average agent gets stuck in a commission conversation when this isn't the right time to be discussing that. The successful agent knows that before we've asked for the appointment, we're in the discovery and rapport building phase. So they use the SAM method to move the conversation forward and continue to build rapport. One more quick example is bring me a buyer. A possible SAM response for this is, got it, you want me to bring you a buyer? I'd ask the same thing if I were you. And luckily for you, that's what I do for a living. I specialize in bringing ready, willing, and able buyers to my sellers. So when the home sells, what's the plan? The 7th essential thing you need to know is all about avoiding objections. And this is really the most impactful. Here are a few specific examples. Let's go back to bring me a buyer. My clients and other high-performing agents easily avoid bring me a buyer because of the greeting we use. We tell people exactly why we're calling. We're not just simply offering our help in general, which is why a lot of people get asked to bring them a buyer. Another example is if you're being asked, how are you different? You're likely doing the same thing or something similar enough to where the seller is grouping you in with other agents. When you are clearly different from your greeting to the questions you ask to your offer, they won't have to ask. They can see you're different. This is one reason I call my company Purple Elephant Coaching. My clients are so clearly different than the other gray elephants that sellers don't have to ask how they're different. And now the biggest way to avoid objections and be able to help others overcome objections more easily is to start observing the objections that you're giving in your life. When you understand this concept, it's not just your for sale by owner conversations that will improve, but really your whole life. Because just like anything else in life, we get back what we give out. This means we attract the objections we give. Now let's look at our average agent. They're constantly saying to themselves or others, that's too expensive. And they're out there looking for a deal. But then they're frustrated when they are consistently asked to reduce their commission. The average agent is annoyed by the for sale by owner who will pay for a remodel or put money into fixing up the house, but then won't hire an expert that actually knows how to help them reach their goals or even get improved results, when that same agent is spending money on marketing and leads before hiring an expert to create the necessary foundations for those things to even work without draining all the money. The high-performing agent knows that if they expect to avoid and more easily overcome these objections, they must first look at where they need to overcome them in their own lives. Without overcoming these objections personally, it becomes much more difficult to stand their ground and help others do the same. By addressing their own limiting beliefs and behaviors, they build the confidence and credibility needed to effectively guide their clients through similar changes. It's hard for the average agent to convince a seller to pay a $13,000 commission when that agent isn't willing to do the same thing for their own business. So I'm giving you the opportunity right now, if you are ready, to rise above all the average agents and allow you to more easily overcome and avoid objections by offering you an opportunity to invest in your business. All you have to do is start by simply applying for my 90-day real estate fast track program, which has helped agents earn their next listing in as little as 7 days. And I guarantee you will receive a full return on investment in that 90 days, or I pay for the program until you do. My Real Estate Fast Track is not just a coaching program or a training platform filled with videos you don't even have time to watch. It's a completely customized program that fills the gaps you have in your business based off your business needs and guaranteed to bring results. Because of this guarantee, not anyone is accepted. So if you are thinking like a high-performing agent and you are ready to start treating your business like a business and see your next listing in as little as 7 days, click the link in the description or the pinned comment to book your business boost. And we are going to see if your business is even ready to get results from my fast track. If it's not, you will leave with a plan to get there. So, hope to see you in your business boost. If you want more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week for the next video.